William Shakespeare's King Lear is a tragic play about power, family, and madness. The aging King Lear decides to divide his kingdom among his 3 daughters based on how much they claim to love him. His 2 eldest daughters, Goneril and Regan, flatter him with false words, while his youngest, Cordelia, refuses to exaggerate her love. Enraged, Lear disowns Cordelia and gives his kingdom to the other 2, who soon betray him. Meanwhile, the Earl of Gloucester is deceived by his illegitimate son, Edmund, who turns him against his loyal son, Edgar. As Lear loses everything, he descends into madness, realizing too late who truly loved him. The play ends in tragedy, with Cordelia's death and Lear's final moments of grief before he dies, showing the devastating effects of pride and betrayal. King Lear is one of Shakespeare's most powerful tragedies, exploring themes of power, family loyalty, and human suffering. The play highlights the dangers of making decisions based on pride rather than wisdom. Lear's downfall shows what happens when a ruler values appearances over truth, while the contrast between his daughters reveals the consequences of blind trust. Shakespeare also examines madness, not just as a personal struggle, but as a reflection of chaos in society. The storm that rages as Lear loses his sanity mirrors the disorder in his kingdom. Through poetic language and intense drama, King Lear presents a dark but thought-provoking view of human nature. The play explores how power can make people blind to the truth. Lear, as king, expects obedience and praise, but his inability to see his daughter's true intentions leads to his downfall. Gloucester also suffers from blindness, believing Edmund's lies and rejecting his loyal son Edgar. Both characters only recognise the truth after they lose everything, Lear through madness and Gloucester through literal blindness. Shakespeare suggests that wisdom comes not from power, but from humility and experience. Betrayal is central to King Lear, as those in power trust the wrong people. Goneril and Regan betray their father after gaining control of his kingdom, showing how greed can destroy family bonds. Similarly, Edmund deceives Gloucester, valuing ambition over loyalty. In contrast, Cordelia and Edgar remain faithful despite being wronged. Shakespeare highlights the difference between true loyalty, which is shown through actions, and false loyalty, which is based on manipulation and lies. Madness plays a major role in the play, particularly in Lear's character arc. As he loses his power, he also loses his grip on reality, wandering in the storm and speaking in riddles. However, his madness leads to greater insight, as he recognises his mistakes and sees the suffering of others. Gloucester, too, gains wisdom only after he is physically blinded. Shakespeare suggests that suffering and madness can sometimes lead to deeper understanding, even if it comes too late. King Lear is a tragic figure whose pride and need for validation lead to his downfall. At first, he is arrogant and blind to the truth, but as he loses everything, he gains wisdom and emotional depth. Cordelia is the embodiment of honesty and loyalty, staying true to her father even after he rejects her. Goneril and Regan are ruthless and power-hungry, willing to betray both their father and each other for control. Edmund is a cunning and ambitious villain, using deceit to rise in status, while Edgar, his brother, represents patience and justice. Gloucester mirrors Lear's journey, suffering betrayal before finally recognising his mistakes. Through these characters, King Lear explores the consequences of pride, betrayal, and the search for redemption.